Well, hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. We are back again with KT Time episode 16 in 2021. Haven't missed one yet, so that's quite good. Right, we have a ton of things to talk about. Today we might go over that hour mark that we try to keep to a bit. So as always, during KT Time, chat is read but not actively replied to at all times. Let me just actually drop this up here as well. And yep, so as I said, we do have a ton of things to talk about. Before I get to anything else, I just wanted to remind that we do have new membership levels on the channel that do enable members access to all sorts of interesting voice commands, and with higher levels you can get unique voice commands for yourself as well. They are disabled in this stream, however, because it's more of a podcast type of format where we do read your chat as well as much as we can, but we are basically formatting as a conversation between two people talking about events and happenings and upcoming things in Clash of Champions. So without further ado, let's say hello to my wonderful co-host Mandalorian and let's get it rolling. I'll switch off the music.
Hey, good afternoon and evening or morning, whatever part of the world you're in. Hello, KT. Hope you're having a fabulous Sunday. Man, May 2nd. I can't believe it's already May.
I know.
2021.
Time flies.
Time flies. It does indeed. And with all things in the contest, time flies. We get new content. We've got what looks like to be upcoming big month, but we can't start the month without talking about what happened last week.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things last week, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the biggest things last week that was the oopsie doopsie poopsie for Kabam would be.
At
There's
this point, I
lots we
wouldn't
could
call
talk.
it oopsie. Oopsie
This
is
yeah.
the first part of it, because Kabam makes a lot of oopsies, and if it was an oopsie in itself, it wouldn't have gotten as big of a coverage and wouldn't infuriate
I
as
think
many people.
it's
Oopsie was with
gone.
Nova, where it was oopsie and it was
Yeah,
fixed.
this is not just a oopsie. It was out there for a long time. They
And
never
I
addressed
think
it.
the lack of resolution to the oopsie is the biggest problem.
Oh my God, that was the worst. In addition, somebody that commented on it had their thread deleted just because they criticized
Oh, it wasn't. Oh yeah,
Kabam's
yeah. I
choice.
saw it. That guy actually sent me an email as well, but I read it a bit too late. But yes, that was, and well, we know for a fact that this event caused, at the very least, bare minimum, one person to unfortunately
At
leave
least
the game.
one.
But
It's
yeah,
caused at
so
least one person to leave. But yeah.
yes, so for those of you who do not know what exactly happened with Kingpin's prestige, the basic idea is that when he got buffed, his prestige was advertised as 13,660 at rank 3 sig 200, which is, perfectly decent, relatively ordinary prestige, which would place him at like 5th in skill class, so around the 30th or 20 something in the game overall.
Yep.
And he was okay prestige option. He wasn't the best one, but it would be conceivable that people rank him up just for the prestige, because top 5 skill. If you are somebody that plays, let's say, not the tippy top of the game, but you still care about the prestige, it's a very viable prestige rank up as well, because it combines a good champion with decent prestige.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's not only just the prestige aspect. I mean, that is definitely a big part of it, which is what this situation is about. But it's a champion whose rework really benefits from the awaken ability, where somebody would use those valuable resources of signature stones, especially in the 6-star level, to pump into a character with the hopes that not only would it increase the character, but in this aspect would increase the overall prestige, which would help them and their alliance. And oh my God, did Kabam screw up again? I mean, they've already, and for reference, they screwed up when they announced the buff, when they just announced the buff to Nova, but it was fixed whenever everybody brought it to its attention because it was like a 5,000 difference.
Yeah, but there was no way we
5,000.
could notice this immediately, because most of the buff champions do have the prestige changed, and this prestige seemed perfectly ordinary. So I actually suspect that was intended to be the Kingpin's prestige.
But I agree. I think that it was supposed to be that, once they let all this time pass with the incorrect information and then it not showing that, instead of doing what I think would be the right thing and just saying, yeah, we're going to update the game with that prestige that we promised because it's nothing game breaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead, they said, no, it's wrong. What
So,
you're seeing as incorrect is wrong.
yeah, so they're
Oh,
just
and by the
gonna fix
way,
the spotlight, and that's
yeah,
it. Pretend that they didn't make a mistake. At which point, it should be. And here's the problem again with how unregulated these mobile games are, because we're not talking
yeah,
just about a few pixel stuff like that. Because the person who posted this Reddit put in 66 sig stones, thinking it is going to help his prestige. 66 skill sig stones would be part of bundles. Let's say if you get
yeah,
around
easily.
$50 for 20 random sig stones.
I
Let's
was
say
gonna say we
that's
just yeah
there
we
about the
just saw
price.
that.
So
Yeah, we just saw that yesterday.
yeah, and that would
So
mean
you're
that it
talking
costs
150
hundreds.
to $200
Yeah, at the very
easily.
least. And it's
That's
very bad. Like I don't have
it,
much more to say about it. That it's
that.
very bad look for the company.
I mean, and then what is your options as a consumer? I mean, that's what it comes down to because previously you could say, well, this company advertised a product. They did not deliver on said product because they changed it after the fact and didn't correct the error, and now are basically telling me, too bad, so sad. Well, at least, before you could do a refund through like either Google Play or the Apple App Store and you get money back for what you spent, and you'd have to find where you spent the money on this. But regardless, now if you do that, you basically get docked, even if it's a legitimate reason from Kabam. When you email Kabam support, you either have someone who knows what they're
Yeah, I
talking
saw
about.
the support ticket as well, and basically
Yeah.
whoever applied had no clue what even prestige is, because they said like prestige can exceed the maximum listed amount due to masteries and
Yeah,
boosts and
based
things
on
like that. It's just
masteries
something
and
completely not whimsical there.
yeah. They just like they copy like it's almost like they knew nothing about the game. They literally looked up their go-to guide on answers about prestige and copy and pasted the first answer that came up
Yeah,
regarding
so
prestige and why it's
but
different.
ultimately,
That's
without
not
like going to all these details, it's just the fact that
yeah.
this issue is serious enough for the unsatisfactory resolution to be very big thing for Kabam. Because if this is something they use as precedent here, then we don't know when they make mistake. Then launch a new champion. Let's say they're gonna launch, I don't know, Mr. Negative. He's gonna be highest science prestige champion listed at as highest prestige as Silver Sapphire or whatever. So we buy it out 2 months later. Turns out that his prestige in game actually is not as high. And then, oh, whoopsie, we fixed it. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And then what?
Well, you see, and that's the problem too, is because normally when this has been done in the past, it's been prior to a champion release or prior to it affecting anyone in the game. This is something that I mean, it was Kingpin buff was what, March?
I think so,
Was it
yeah.
March to the
Yeah, I'm quite
Kingpin?
sure it was March.
Yeah, I think it was March or April. I mean, March or February, one of those 2 months. Anyway, regardless, it's been over a month. Um, and it took someone realizing the numbers weren't matching up to what Kabam said, in addition to a third-party site that does track these things, and bring it to their attention. And then it took them over 3 days to respond on the forums because they reported on the forums like they were told to.
Yeah.
And then when they made the ticket for Kabam, Kabam said the first reply was, "You should have contacted us within the 3-day window."
Yeah.
Which nowhere in the world have we ever heard about a 3-day window before. It's not anywhere to be found.
Yeah, so.
And they basically said you're stuck with that
Anyways,
now.
my personal hope, because we can't spend too much time glossing over it, we have a
Yeah,
ton
I
of things
know.
to
It's just
discuss today, but
stupid.
my personal hope, and if anybody at all from Kabam listens to this whatsoever, my personal hope is that they do address this publicly, they tell properly their side of the story, because so far the only two messages from Kabam on the subject where Kabambu said that yeah, they made a mistake and they're gonna fix the spotlight, which they did, but they even fixed that incorrectly because it's 4 prestige points off how it actually is in the game. And the second reply was, this thread is derailed, so we're gonna close it down without actually resolving it. So I think at this point it's a pretty much a definite must that they actually post a forum or send an in-game message about what happened and how they're gonna try and rectify the situation. If they're just gonna pretend that it's not happening, it's just like yet another huge stain on the face of Kabam. And it's such a shame because they are doing a lot of cool things, and they just completely destroy all the goodwill that they could have built up with the player base by doing things like that, like this, in between all of that.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So, but let's get to something a bit more positive, a bit more interesting. So, gonna start talking about the champion buffs. So let's start with the
Yes.
one that we were due, kind of like, and that will be Odin's. So what is your opinion about the Odin's buff? You do know what changed with Odin, right?
Yeah, it was. I know. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember that it was like they changed the way he can. Well, they changed his Odin sleep. That was the biggest one because his Odin sleep kind of sucked, but originally. I know they also changed the way the Odin Force charges worked. Um, like it won't consume them all instead of. Or wait, no, it will consume them all. Wait, it will consume them all, I believe now. Can you correct me? I don't have it in front of me. Oh wait, you got it on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it on the screen. Yeah. So the Odin sleep, we can start there. So every fight as a defender, Odin sleeps effects. Basically, these changes, and just as an overview, and we've said it before, is this. It doesn't make the champion like insanely good. It does make him how he probably should have been released to begin with, because I think the Odin sleep was kind of useless before. Um, I I still don't think he's a great champion in my opinion. He's better than Heimdall now. He was like pretty much compared to like a Heimdall 2.0, but honestly not as good. But this could potentially make someone maybe rank him in lieu of Heimdall because he can do a little bit more and such with his pre-fight ability and stuff, and what they kind of changed on him. I think that the fact that now Odin Sleep is gonna give you an indefinite aptitude buff at the start of the fight is actually nice. Uh, because before it did like what attack rating, and armor. Was that what it was
Oh, yeah.
before?
Before that, it was a Fury buff and Armor buff that you could
Yeah,
got after 2 stacks. But now it's set where you basically get a Fury buff and Armor buff at start of every fight, and then if you
yeah.
do the full 2 fight Odin sleep cycle, you gain 2 aptitude buffs that would probably put you somewhat slightly above what you would have had before.
Before, right? Gotcha.
Right.
Okay,
So,
that's what it was.
and also another thing that they're changing to him is they increase his buff duration from 7 seconds to 10 seconds for all of his buffs. So it's gonna be a bit easier to
Yeah,
maintain those buffs, which is also one.
which
But I
is
still
you
don't
know
quite think it's enough because that yeah,
no.
it's enough for the opponent not to want to throw special attack once, and you're kind of done and
And you
out of
lose
them.
it. Yeah, you
So
can lose your yeah.
in general with Odin, it's kind of like he was super bad before, and I still think
Mhm.
he's gonna be quite bad. In the best case circumstance, after the buff, he puts up decently good numbers, which is cool.
Better.
But
Yeah.
to be a good champion in 2021 in Marvel Contest Champions, you need much more than just decently good numbers. Combined with the fact
Yeah.
that he has no immunities, and his playstyle
That
is not the easiest to kind of like ramp up and keep up, and with everything else, it's
is it just me, or did you think he should have had which I thought they would have changed the immunities too. I'm glad you brought that up. I thought they would have made him shock immune at
yeah.
the
When it's
minimum.
kind of ironic that he throws shock immunity out like candy and can literally make any champion practically shock immune, but has none of
But
that
he can't do
himself.
it to himself. Yeah. Like
Like,
how
what
is
do you?
that like that's what I thought was going to be an easy like add-on fix to him. You have no immunities, you suck. Give him at least shock immunity because that's one thing. If you really get into it, you could probably have like you could probably even say maybe poison immunity, but I mean, I guess you could argue that he not really, but I mean, you could say, well, he's the Allfather. He has immunity to
So,
poison because of some reason or
so yeah.
another.
Again, like it's
Uh,
not like I have the most experience with Odin in general. I have done some fights with him. I know the basic gist of using the champion, and I
yeah,
will try him out after the changes. So I'm by no means trying to like write it off as a fail already. However, I am skeptical whether these changes will amount to anything. I think this is the sort of change they did to Ebony more or less, kind of, or like where, or a Nihilus, well, it's neat. Definitely doesn't make him worse, but does it do anything at all whatsoever to make him relevant or playable or desired other than for his pre-fight abilities? I don't quite think so.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. Honest truth, I haven't played him at all because I'll have him as a 4-star and I just refuse to rank him up.
Oh.
Obviously pre-buff,
Yeah.
but I expected more from this buff even still.
Yeah, I did
think he
grind for
ends up
him. I
being-
have 5-star at rank 3. I actually ended up duping him from, I think, that compensation crystal. That because I opened one from Black ISO store and they sent me like one of the Jabari Panther crystals, and I duped my 5-star Odin from that, so my 5-star Odin's duped. But still, yeah, I don't see myself actually using this champion other than for his pre-fight, really.
Yeah, he's definitely not the cosmic apocalypse.
Such a shame, man. It's Odin, man. It really hurts. It genuinely does hurt. Like Odin.
It's
so
just
dirty.
another example. It's another example of Kabam taking iconic champions, iconic characters from the comics that are very powerful, and making them weak as hell. Thanos, Odin, obviously, Sentry. I mean, we could go on and on.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that there's plenty of champions that they've done dirty.
Honestly, I prefer if he hadn't been added to the game. 100%.
Yeah, if you're not going to do it right, don't add him.
I don't want this to be my association with the name Odin.
Well, and this is the other thing, too. I know that they said they moved up his quote-unquote buff earlier or revisit earlier than expected. He still needs a buff.
Yeah, exactly. He definitely needs a buff.
This buff, he needs a buff afterwards. Like this, and like in 12 months, I expect them to give him a buff. And if they don't, that's another missed opportunity. He's not going to be used.
It's honestly, it's just sad. Like, I don't want to associate myself with Odin, this Odin.
Like I said, I pulled him as a 4-star from with the Jabari crystals they gave us because I missed him from the initial one from the Black ISO store. But even then, like I said, I think I threw an Awakening Gem on him just because I have so many as 4-stars or like an overflow mostly. But I'm never gonna rank him up probably unless they give me stones for it. I don't think I'm.
Anyways, let's take a look at the unexpected buff that we had for a champion I was pleasantly surprised, but I wouldn't have thought that they would. In fact.
Are we talking about the Mr. Stretch Armstrong himself?
We're talking about Stretch Armstrong himself. So I'm going to quickly go over what's changed for him.
Yeah, please
do.
So
the base idea is the most important things that have changed with Mr. Stretch Armstrong is that his, first of all, his pre-fight debuffs last 15 seconds now instead of 12. So they do get 3-second increase, which is, solid increase. It's going to mean that it's easier to maintain the debuffs on the opponent, which is helpful for sure. The second thing, one second, I'm getting some sort of stupid notifications here. I need to figure out how to switch that off later. Anyways, the second thing that he's getting is he's getting more damage because he gains attack rating for every debuff on the opponent. And that has been changed from 5% to 8% now. And it doesn't sound much, but if you think about it, it's like solid 60% increase from this ability. So if previously opponent had like 4 debuffs on them, which is like basically start of the fight plus parry, you gain 20% attack increase. Now you get 32% attack increase. So that's noticeable.
Right. That's
and also his level 3 gives more potent fury. Previously it was like where it is level 3. Now that signature ability special 3. Fury for 20 seconds. I think it amounted for 20% of his total rating for a single debuff. So that is like a massive passive Fury for 20 seconds. And now it's like 30%. So it's also like a very significant increase. And last thing that they changed it is that he starts the quest now with 4 persistent charges and can have up to 9. And previously it was 2 and up to 5.
That is the biggest change, I think
so as well, because this change makes him definitely better as a support champion, 100%, and also makes him more flexible. pun not intended, but it makes him more flexible in the sense that you can actually go in a quest and let's say do a fight and get him up to 8, 7, whatever persistent charges. Then you can fully drop his pre-fight abilities for like 1 fight or 2 fights and then still go back in the fight with some charges left. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would be
I
just
think,
easier to manage them.
yeah, it's going to give him a lot. He's not going to be, what's the word I'm trying to say? He's given, this is the great idea of a buff, is like somebody who necessarily wasn't a bad champion at all, but just makes him a little less stressful to play. Gives a little bit more flexibility, like you said, and just overall
And gives him more
makes
damage, because damage was one of the issues
yeah,
with him as well. So
the only thing I wish they would have changed, which they don't say here, and I don't think they did change, was, and I think you know what I'm going to say too, is his reach of his heavy.
yeah, reach of his heavy attack is quite annoying for a champion that
It's
relies
abysmal,
on
but
dropping heavies quite a lot. But
yeah, but I
doubtful
mean,
that that's changed. But still, either way, I'm quite happy. I do have a rank 5 Mr. Fantastic. And
yeah,
I already liked him before. I already thought that he's in, let's say, top 10 science champions, and he's very underrated because he does manage to sneak in Alliance War meta. I have personally used him for very different unorthodox solutions, like Special Conceal Lane. That was in 6.3 or 6.4. I ended up soloing largely with Mr. Fantastic without using any items, and he is
yeah.
very, very, very good underrated champion in my opinion, and this just makes him better. So I'm very eager to actually play with him, test him. Tomorrow morning I will probably record like some fights with him, and then I'll hopefully the update is tomorrow, and I'll post a comparison video up there. Because I think I'll do like 2 runs, one with like Mr. Fantastic by himself, a couple of fights in Realms Legends, then Mr. Fantastic with full team.
Right.
And then again, once he's updated, Mr. Fantastic by himself and Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I like how they give us the opportunity to kind of know ahead of time, so we can do that. Like you get the opportunity to make sure you record gameplay with the old way before the new way.
Yeah.
The other thing too, I wish I had a maxed out like 5-star of him, but by the time I got him as a 5-star, I already had him as a 6-star, and unfortunately my 6-star isn't awakened and my 5-star is.
Yeah,
so
my
it comes
6-star is unawakened as well, and that SIG ability is very, very actually important.
Yeah, you definitely want it. And that's the thing is, so I'm hoping that maybe I can dupe my 6-star soon, because he would, and we were talking before that I'm about to form another science. I really don't have any options. If I formed another science and he was duped,
yeah, I would take him to rank 3 as a 6-star. I had him duped.
Immediately.
Especially because offensive power rate is increased by 50% for each careful study passive. It makes so easy to get your like level 2s and level 3s, and that's when that level 3 Mega Fury is also very important.
Yeah. So man, I really want to see what his damage is going to look like and such. I think it's going to be so much more fun.
I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I think it could give quite a significant increase, especially because you know, that 5% Fury increase, even if you don't go for level 3, it's very easy by default to get up 12 debuffs on opponent with Mr. Fantastic. That's the baseline what you get, because you get 1 careful study passive in every fight, which counts as 3 debuffs, and you get 3 copies of your level 2 debuffs, that's 12. Then you can have Shock from level 2, you can have Taunt and Fate Seal from level 1, you can have Parry Stun if you have Resonate on. Basically, you can get to about 15 debuffs relatively easy. So
which is insane.
Exactly. So 15 debuffs. So previously it was 15 debuffs, 5% Fury, so you get like 75% increase, right?
Yeah.
And now 15 debuffs will be 120% attack increase. So that's a huge difference.
That's so insane. That's so insane. I hope that. Yeah, I hope it ends up being as good as it is on paper, because like I said, it just turns him. Now, the funny thing is, and this is speculation, but we've seen Torch get a minor tweak. Thing I don't think really needs to be tweaked. We've seen MrWTF. Do you think they'll do the same thing? Maybe
I think they have to, because Invisible Woman is like the weakest of the group. Honestly, if Invisible, like that's why I was excited for Super Skull, because I thought if you're gonna bring in a team of Thing, Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, and Super Skull would be a good champion, that would be like a solid team. Because one of the weaker things about Mr. Fantastic Four in general is that they do rely quite heavily on having like full Fantastic Four present, which often is not easy thing to do, just because like Invisible Woman is not really all that helpful.
It's not that she's not all that, it's just that you basically have to play perfectly and only intercept, never parry or block or anything.
But yeah, so with this, I do want to see how big of an impact it is going.
Yeah, I'm hoping that if if they buffed him, that maybe she's in the wings too to get buffed. And
Yeah.
then maybe they'll buff Super Scroll too. I mean,
Oh,
if you're
Super Skull
buffing the
definitely needs a
Fantastic
buff,
Four, why
man.
not buff him? He needs it.
Yeah.
So
It's sad that a champion that was released 2-3 months ago really needs a buff.
yeah, well, I mean that's been the story of 2021 lately. You
Yeah.
know, and like I said, you see one of the buffs and we're not even happy about it. But yeah, overall, Miss Fantastic. If I gave it a grade out of 100, I would put it at a strong 89 that I'm looking forward to.
I'm generally quite excited for it as well. But let's take a
I
look
don't
at
want to
the
I don't want
next
to put it
one.
too high because I don't want to put it too high because I don't want to be let down. But like, and I didn't give Odin like a grade, but if I gave him a grade, I'd give him a 60.
But let's take a look at Vulture now. Now this chap, I actually had made a proper review video on him, and he's better than people think he is. There are some quirky cool things that he can do, and in some matchups he can put in serious work. However, obviously there was just no justification in investing resource in him from perspective when you put him competing against champions like Warlock, Ghost, Guillotine 2099, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the tech class needs buffs that are meaningful, and this feels like another buff that's not as meaningful. Between Civil Warrior and now him, I do think there's going to be some benefit for this, like the armor break, for example. It's also going to be very helpful with the what do you call it, the Cav tech quest. You know?
Yeah, because he's a champion that has an armor buff. That's one of the requirements, and armor break, which is the second of the requirements. So he fits both of the tech nodes quite well now.
Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool. I mean, gives another option there, which I like to see. But yeah, maybe it'll just be some really cool interactions we're not thinking of based on.
No, there definitely are some cool interactions, but still, at the same point, after reading everything, the only way I can actually see and imagine Vulture being like a very, very good option is when you can use this one line of text in his kit now. Vulture avoids a debuff due to an immunity plus 100 charges.
Yeah.
Because he can gain additional immunities, and if you can, I don't know, put it on the not biohazard, but the freezer burn or something like that, where you can consistently trigger immunity and consistently be at 100 charges, you can actually benefit from that quite heavily. Other than that,
he may not be too bad for that. What do you call it? Shifting hazard mini boss. If you just stay away when he's at poison and just
he can gain poison immunity with.
Oh, that's right. He can gain the poison immunity.
Yeah, so he might be an
actually shifting hazard would be great for him then.
Yeah. You gain a poison immunity with War Machine, Ultron Prime, or Ebony Maw, which are rumored to be the next
ones. Yeah, that would, oh my god, if that ends up being true. Like, I'm actually excited for a lot of the buffs if they and they consider Ultron Prime. Is that the Abyss, I mean the Labyrinth of Legend one?
No, I don't know. Which is Ultron Prime?
Well, yeah, because Ultron Prime, I think that's considered Ultron Prime, and because the other one they called Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I'll quickly check it in the game, but
unless they changed it, because yeah, that's what I'm kind of confused about, because I haven't heard the name Ultron Prime used unless they're renaming it or something, which would make sense. I mean, Age of Ultron made sense when the movie was coming out, but like now it'd be better if they just called them like Ultron Prime and then Ultron, the other Ultron. And more people have access to Ultron Prime, if that's what they're going to call him now too. But in regards to Vulture, you know, I feel like it's probably better than like an Ebony Maw buff or a Nova buff. But I still feel like they could have done more to him. But there still could be some really cool things we're not.
Yeah, this is again one of those things. Like, obviously, if his damage is like very decent, then people will find reasons to use.
Jonathan Williams, $2.
Thank you, Jonathan, by the way.
Don't forget to hit all the buttons.
But yeah,
yeah.
Because here's the thing: like, if champion has great amount of damage, then people find reasons to use that champion. If champion's damage is mediocre or underwhelming, people don't really look at them twice. You know what I mean? Like CGR, for instance. CGR is not really a champion that has the greatest amount of utility and perfect amount of fights, but because he's popular and because he does so much of the damage, people will try to get that damage connected as frequently as possible, so they'll try to use him for fights that they otherwise wouldn't think of. Psycho Man is a champion who could probably do a lot more fights than we know, but nobody is gonna bother trying because who has the time? So yeah. And I think that's where this buff is gonna hang in the balance. If he's gonna be able to finish out fights quickly enough, people are gonna be interested in him and gonna find use for him.
And the ability to be immune, not just to incinerate like he already is kind of nice too. There's gonna be some interesting things that could happen. So I hope his damage ends up being really good.
I do hope he fares well, but I do not have that feeling. What's the best way to put it? Whatever I hope for Vulture is probably going to be something that I overlooked, because reading through whatever he's getting in his kit, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's not going to be great. I'm just saying I don't see it yet.
Yeah, maybe, and that's the thing, is some of these we see on paper and they look awesome, and then you get them in action, they suck, and then some of them they do match what they show, like good or bad, and then this one could be one that we just don't know yet until we see it. But let me put it this way: I like his model. I've always liked his model. I thought they did him right. He looks just like he did in the movie and such. And
those wings
I have a
are
soft
huge.
spot for. Yeah, and I have a soft spot for Michael Keaton. Because so obviously he's Michael Keaton in my eyes. So yeah, I hope it's good. I would love to use him more. I'd love to. I don't have him duped as a 6-star, but I have him as a 6-star. So I would like to see.
Yeah, I only have him as a 5-star, though, I think, but still.
Yeah, still would be cool.
Still hope it would be cool. And then the main hero of the story, the one that everybody's been waiting for.
Forward to.
So this is the one where we have the most amount of things to talk to. So Black Panther gets complete overhaul with seemingly very aggressive, intercept-reliant playstyle. So basically he's going to have a mechanic that's very, very similar to Black Widow Deadly Origins. But then the rest of his kit actually kind of, outside of the fact that he's going to be a champion that spams bleeds a lot, remind me of Ghost, because he does get, like, basically his damage comes from crits, because crits let him apply the bleeds, and he has an opportunity for guaranteed critical hits if you're intercepting the opponent with your special attack, which is again one of that Ghost playstyle thing, which is the definite line from Ghost if you intercept.
Yeah.
Like, Ghost says if you do it straight after phasing, but effectively you kind of need to do it by intercepting the opponent if you're not running Wasp. So that's exactly the same method of dropping that up. And so it does look, at the very least, at the most conservative estimate, it looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
could
honestly,
be amazing and great, but at the very least, it's going to be good.
And I've said it before, I kind of wish they would have done Civil War at the same time, but I'm glad he's getting this treatment, because he was a character, I remember getting him early on, because he's been in the game since, I think, the beginning. And I remember getting him as a 4-star early on, and before I unlocked Deep Wounds even, I noticed that, like, he just had when he got bleeds on the character, he could melt them down pretty good, even, like, the old way and stuff. Now, he's not amazing compared to, like, Nick Fury or anything right now, like, the way he is now, but to see that he's going to be able to really do some good damage. And I think if people are used to playing Ghost, as you mentioned, a lot of intercepting and stuff, I think that it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to help people get more accustomed to playing Ghost and him really well, or people that play Ghost are just going to be able to jump in and really play him pretty well. I mean, granted, you're not phasing, but the idea is still
it's
kind
of
the
a mix of Ronin, Ghost, and Black Widow Deadly Origins in a sense.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. It is all those three mixed together.
Yeah, because that he gains those Panther Might charges, which is a very important mechanic, in the same way basically as Ronin changes his stances by not finishing a combo and dashing back. And then he has that special launching thing from Ghost, basically, where you want to intercept his special to guarantee the crits from it, and gain these passive precisions and passive cruelties. That's kind of similar to Black Widow Deadly Origins. So there's quite a lot happening, and I have two things like to comment here. So first of all, I do think it's fun. It looks fun. It looks interesting, and I do like the thought process behind these actual abilities and ability triggers and the playstyle. The thing that I'm not too happy about is that it's again yet classically skilled character. Like, literally, like every skill character that's released in the last 2 years does about 3 out of 4 things: lower ability accuracy, access damage over time debuffs, shrug off debuffs, and has some sort of either precision or cruelties.
Yeah, and
that's it.
Him,
that's what skill does. That's what skill is. Shrug off debuffs, lower like ability accuracy, inflict damage over time debuffs, and has some sort of damage, precision or cruelty or some buffs, something like that. That's it. Like, you can take every skill champion released within 2 years, and 3 of those 4 things is going to be in every champion.
Yeah, and I see that. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing either, because maybe you really prefer playing a playstyle that also benefits you to have, like, Kabam seems to love the idea of putting debuffs on you, and one of the most annoying fights to ever fight is a noted up void that can not only put debuffs on you, but, or even in war, run into someone that has like a resonate mastery and such that can do that. And it's kind of nice to be able to see that. But
yeah,
I
but
know
again,
what you're saying.
like, if you're gonna go up against noted up void, would
Yeah.
Black Panther be the champion that you end up using? Because you do need to perform an intercept
Probably.
on demand against the void. Right? That's
The
what
only
I'm saying
time I
is that
would is if he
there
was
are
in-
so many of these abilities, because every skill champion has them. For Black Panther to be the champion of choice for those abilities, it would have to be freaking good. It would have to be like insanely good.
And we run in the same situation where you need his awakened ability.
Yeah,
And
that's
not only do
also
you
a
need his awakened
definite
ability, you need it to be max sig.
Yeah, because without max sig, you
is-
can't fully shut down opponent abilities.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's kind of frustrating too with a lot of these reworks or new champions. What we're seeing is they have to be awakened, and they have to have pretty much max sig. And when you're talking about 6 stars in this game, that's almost impossible to do with so many champions.
Right,
you may be able to do it for maybe a handful.
Well, yeah,
but
so that makes these decisions even harder, because these are effectively last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 skill champions in the game effectively, to a degree, do pretty much exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And if they keep on doing, like, Crossbones needs max sig, Kingpin needs higher / max sig, and so on and so forth. So if they keep doing this, then
I mean, you got Falcon, I can think of, Black Panther now, Kingpin, Crossbones, who else? I'm sure there's some more. Granted, like Mole Man and Nick Fury, you don't.
Jabari Panther has that cleanse mechanic. Mole Man does have shrug off. Nick Fury does have shrug off as well.
Yeah. There's, I mean, yeah, and I get what you're saying. It could.
I just want skill champions to do something else, like, you know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying the skill champions are all the same.
Yeah, like, other classes don't really seem to have that problem to this high of a degree. Like, you know, we have a science champion. We have had, I don't know, Mr. Fantastic released, who does a ton of different things, and then we have Spider-Ham, who is completely different with, these powers things, stuff like that. And then we had Immortal Hulk and Immortal Abomination, who both champions are completely different in their playstyles and their abilities.
Yeah.
Skill champions all seem pretty much exactly the same in their playstyles and their abilities.
Yeah, and this is what I'm going to say, and correct me if I'm wrong if you don't think the same way, but the reason why I think we're seeing that too is a lot of these champions are either newly coming out or they're being buffed, and skill is the one that needed the most help, and it seems like everything they've done has been kind of the flavor of the week, as you said, like purifying debuffs, ability accuracy.
Well, that's the thing. If skill needs the most help, then creating 5 champions that do nearly identical things is nowhere near as helpful as releasing 5 champions that each do different things very well, with so much more with the skill class. Don't get me wrong, I do think skill class is very good right now, but I think they're limiting
I know what
too
you're
much.
saying. You're not going to bring multiple skills in the same team, most likely, because they're all going to do the same thing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I agree with you. I also think Kabam may be doing this, especially with the older champions or champions that have been out for at least like a year or longer. because most people probably have pulled these champions and have them just sitting there collecting dust on their roster, and they want them to, one, rank them up, and two, use them, and don't feel like they have just useless stuff on their roster. But you get to the point where once you get a big roster, then these are kind of useless because they're all doing the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's kind of
So
the
it's
point.
just a different code
Because
of
there
paint.
are
What do you
different
wanna have
perspectives
as your
how you
code
can
of paint?
approach it. Whether you would be happy by pulling that champion very
Yeah.
early on, in which case, yes, you would be happy for about 2/3 of the MCOC roster because they can do useful things. But when you look at champions from perspective of, I have one tier 5 class catalyst and this many signature stones, which one do I give it to?
Yeah.
It all of a sudden seems quite different. But in general, I'm definitely looking for Black Panther. I'm definitely thinking that he has a potential to maybe break in that skill top echelon if it's very well. I think at the very least he's probably going to be like at the bottom of top 10 based on the abilities. Hopefully he goes higher. Really need to also see how viable it is to completely shut down the opponents and how quickly you can do it. Need to see how much damage exactly he does and how quickly he can access it and how practical he is to play and all those things. But in general, I definitely look forward to playing with the guy. I do not have him as a 6-star. I do have him as a max sig 5-star though. So in this case, I actually think it's probably a bit better. If anything, I can give him one of those 2017 rank 3 to 4 gems.
Yeah, the 2017. Yeah, I was gonna say I have him. I have him as both, but only my 5-star is Awaken and Max Sig already. So, like, he's ready to go. But that's because, like I said, he's been in the game so long.
Yeah.
That's why. But
yeah, definitely.
So
definitely
he's probably good. So him, if I was to give a score to Vulture, I'd give Vulture probably a 70, and I'd give him probably I'd give him about a 92. I don't know why I give scores now, but I do.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing with this guy as well. I hope it's very exciting. And moving on though to the next thing, we still have plenty of things to discuss. But next thing is
some of these will go pretty quick. Though.
Yeah, though. Like this one.
This next section is going quick. We don't have much to talk about.
Shang-Chi and Mr. Negative. We actually do have some gameplay examples. And we can't say too much. I think at some point I saw some Mr. Negative inflicting a debuff from a special attack. 1 second, here we go. Exhaustion. So Mr. Negative has exhaustion, which basically reduces their crit damage, crit rate, or attack rating, or something like that. I need to look up Luke Cage 6. Yeah, that Luke Cage exhaustion. So we know for a fact, obviously, because, well, typical to science class, Mr. Negative is going to be inflicting some debuffs, but Shang-Chi seems to have some sort of passive counters, kind of like in a style of Tigra or whatever. And looking at the icons, I have no clue what this one is. It kind of looks like a pressure point needle, maybe? If you look into it, like it's kind of like a needle. It could very well be like, a joystick on an arcade machine, but I don't think it would fit with Shang-Chi. But it could also be like a needle or pressure point pressing, something like that. The second one here is unblockable special attacks, because we have seen this exact icon on Tigra already, so he will more than likely have ability to have his special attacks be unblockable, or all attacks unblockable, or something. That's the icon of unblockable. And these three I do not know either. Haven't seen. It's probably something to do with like chi. We can see that one of them has charges.
Probably chi.
And this is some sort of link.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like chain links or something like that. And then the other one.
I'm not entirely sure, but well, at the very least, for the fact we do know exactly how they look in the game. We do know some of their animations. You guys can go and check it out for yourselves. I'll post this in the live stream chat. If you guys haven't seen it already, you can drop down there. And so Mr. Negative Science, which I absolutely love. I want more and more science champions.
Keep it on that screen for a second. Look at his friggin' tattoos.
I wanted to say those tattoos look so good, man.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd show that. Yeah, the tattoos look sick.
You can see he has some on neck as well.
Yeah, he's got it on the back of his neck. I couldn't see it much. Actually, this is the first time I've seen it on his neck. I only saw his arms before, so that's awesome. You paused it there. Yeah. He looks really cool. His outfit looks badass.
Yeah,
I like that it's like not a full suit. It's the vest and the tie with the dress shirt, and it's kind of rolled up arms. It's like I was worried they were just gonna do like a palette swap of
Sunspot, but yeah, no, it looks very, very good, and I'm quite excited because I also have kind of like a I love science class. I think it's my favorite class.
I think science class is the most that will. I think it's, and I think we mentioned this earlier this week in another stream. I think they're the next class to really start seeing a lot of new, especially with.
Well, there might be, and the thing with science class, it's awesome class. There's a ton of great champions, but it's a very small class, and there's also a lot of outdated champions, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So any buff to science class, I really do like. I think science class overall is one of the strongest classes, but it's not as wide, so to speak. There's a ton of things they can do, but they rely on 5 to 8 champions to carry that class.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, like the fact that like we know Mr. Fantastic's going to be better than he was. We have Mr. Negative, which hopefully is really good. We know Miles is going to get a buff sometime in the near future. And then hopefully, like I said, if Invisible Woman ends up getting buffed because they're buffing Mr. Fantastic, and she's really the last one that hasn't been touched. Well, Thing doesn't need to be touched, but she's the last one of the 3 that didn't come out fully baked. She's the one that could be touched. I think Science is like the next one, and then maybe Tech, and then Cosmic. I don't know.
We'll see how they go. Well, problem with Cosmic class is that it's huge. Cosmic is like the biggest class.
Yeah, Cosmic is like, and not only that, they're constantly releasing new Cosmics too.
Yeah.
But
most of them are crap.
But yeah.
Anyway, so I'm definitely proper excited about these guys. I hope Mr. Negative is first because I really do.
So do I.
I mean, Shang-Chi is like cool and all, but it's, you know, take it or leave it kind of situation for me with Shang-Chi. But Mr. Negative is like, please give me help. I don't know.
I would get a few crystals because I'm still searching for my 6-star Silver Centurion. So if they had dual crystals of him and Mr. Negative, I'd be so happy for early access. Which we should get this week. I think we get early access this week. Usually Thursday at the latest. Because it should come out, I think, the next week.
Maybe.
Right. Because let me look. Hold on. I'm looking at the month. So we should get, because we should get one character on their arena and everything on the 13th, which is 2 Thursdays from now. And then 2 weeks after that's the 27th, which would be the next character. So Wednesday or Thursday this week, we'll probably see an early access drop for the first one being released. Yeah. I'm really hoping it's Mr. Negative.
Okay. Now we do need to pick up the pace and move on to the next one a bit. And that is 7.2. So,
which, you know, again, another thing we can kind of briefly talk about because we don't know a lot about it.
Yeah,
we know it's coming
there
out.
was beta. Unfortunately, didn't pay much attention to the beta.
I was in it, and I didn't get a chance to really dive into it.
I'd assume it's going to be relatively similar to 7.1. I have heard it's about 10-20% harder than 7.1, which is perfectly fine.
Scaled a little bit,
yeah,
but still very fun still.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's going to launch immediately with the update, probably like a week or 2 later. But I'm very, very excited. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to do a Legends run or whether I'm going to just blitz through it.
I was going to say, you know, you're going to have to make a decision, and you're going to need to post that because people are going to keep asking until you make a decision on it.
But
it depends on when it comes out, I think.
Yeah, kind of, probably. We'll see. Anyways, that's so classic version of me. Kind of, probably, maybe, we'll see.
Yeah,
anyways,
know, Mr.
Even though we don't know a lot of things about 7.2, what we can do is we can kind of try and speculate a bit about the rewards. Because last time we did it, we actually came very, very close. Or at the very least, I did.
I remember that. That was awesome. In fact, it was just a little bit better. You got it a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
But we did agree there wasn't going to be anything 5-star in there, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess let me ask you first. So, do you feel like we're going to get like a 20% increase all across the board, or do you think only certain things are going to be increased, or do you think nothing's going to be increased?
No, I definitely do think there will be some sort of visible increase. So, I think the first serious question here, do I think there will be an Awakening Gem? No. I'm going to go with no.
No. Well, they could do a class-based, like, you know, random one. Not like you could pick it with the class. Not like a Nexus or anything like that, or whatever they call them. A selector wouldn't be that. I don't think they'd give us a generic either. It'd probably be a random crystal, and it'd be for 100% if they did that. But I think it's too early. I think it's too early.
I think we might see one on 7.3. I don't think we're going to see one here.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same boat with you on there.
Right, so let's go reward for reward, more or less. So
Yeah,
first one
okay.
is for completion rewards, tier 5 class catalyst crystal 25%.
I think they'll do a 25%, but I think they may add like another 10% as well.
I think it's gonna be exactly the same.
Really? So you don't think they'll add any more? They're kind of making it more available now, though.
Yeah, but
I would think they do the 25% plus like a 10% also, or maybe even a 5, maybe even something a little lower, but at
I
least to give
think
you a
it's
little bit
just
more.
going to be the 25%.
Okay, well we disagree there, but I don't think it's going to be like 50%. Let me put it that way. I don't think it's going to be double for the completion.
Yeah. Okay, so 6-star rank up gem 1 to 2 crystal. I think we might get possibly 2 of those.
I would love to see 2 of them.
Or maybe
yes.
1 for
I don't think
completion,
we're
1
gonna...
for exploration, something like that.
I got an idea about exploration, but I'll get when we get there. We'll get there. But I think 1 would be good if they do something different in exploration. But if they don't, then 2 would be great. Yeah.
And with 6-star signature stone crystals, I think I'm just gonna see like 15, like a slight
I was
increase
gonna say
there.
15. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they're gonna go. They're not gonna double it, but 15, and I don't think they're gonna be generic either.
Yeah. And 6-star crystal shards, I think we're gonna see 15 or 20. I think that is the one thing that they might actually double. So I think it's gonna be 15 or 20,000 6-star shards, because 6-star shards have again gotten quite significantly more accessible with the buff to Cavalier rewards and stuff like that.
I was gonna say minimum they should do is 15, but you're right. This is one they could actually double.
Yeah. And gold, well, gold was actually quite a catastrophe last time around, so I have no clue what they're
think they're
gonna
gonna double it.
Yeah, they probably ought to do that. Okay, so exploration rewards. The first one was tier 5 class catalyst selected 25%. I think that's exactly what you're gonna see here as well.
I think, and this is again me going back to like I think they'll increase it just a little bit. They could do one of 2 things. They could either do 2 selectors instead of having 1 crystal and 1 selector that are 25% each, or they could do 1 25% and 1 10% selector, and then just have the 25% crystal.
Maybe. I think they're not going to change the FFCC at all.
I'm against you on that, just because I feel like they're giving us more of that lately. Just because they're trying to get people to become throne breakers, so they'll spend more money, because they're finding that people that are longtime Cavalier that haven't been able to get the class they need that extra help, and that's why I think they're going to increase it a little bit.
Yeah, because I also know that 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3 all offered only 25% total.
But
and 6.4 originally was going to offer only 25% total as well, by the way.
I know, but things have changed.
I know, but well, okay, yeah, exactly. They have changed. So instead of 25%, they're giving 75% in total, of whom 25% you can select.
I understand.
But I do think that they're gonna probably maybe keep it the same. Anyways, that's just a guess. That's just a guess, anyways, based on what they did with that fix.
90 to 95% for exploration total, like between completion and that. But that's just my guess. So
that's fair. That's not mine. So 1 6-star next crystal, I think that's gonna remain the same. Don't think they're gonna change that.
I'll say that's the same.
I think the 6-star signature stones is also gonna be 20 to max 30. I don't see them giving away more than 30 6-star signature stones.
I was gonna probably say 25. They'd probably just add 5 more to that.
Yeah, most likely. And signature stone crystals, again, they're probably going to be 15. So I do think they're going to give away slightly more signature stone crystals this time.
Yeah, I could see them doing more signature stone crystals than signature stones, but yeah, they could keep 20 signature stones and do maybe 25 signature stone crystals. I could see them doing that also.
Mm-hmm.
And then gold, I think they'll just do another 2 million.
Yeah, probably. But here is the cool part. Here's the interesting part of my plan. I do also think, you see, every path in 7.1 had some sort of drop, basically. Either there were gold drops, unit drops, 6-star shard drops, tier 2 alpha drops, 9 or 18,000, and tier 5 basic drops. I do think that they might do away with gold drops and or 6-star shard drops and introduce
Tier 3
Tier
alpha
5
and,
class
and tier
catalyst,
Oh.
2% fragment crystals, within like
Oh.
2% or 4% there. So I think they're going to keep the rank and chapter rewards there the same. I do think that they're going to give the 2 or like 2 times 2 crystals in these random drops on the paths.
So you think they'll put them in the... So while I'm saying they're going to increase T5, you think they're going to put them in the pass versus the rewards?
I think that
Okay.
more chance of that happening.
Okay, I can see that. What I was going to say,
It's
I
just a
forgot
guess
to
again.
mention it. Remember I said there was something that if they don't give us 2 6-star rank 1 to 2 crystals, I mean, in the exploration, I was saying that if they gave us just 1 there, it's possible they could give us a class-based 2 to 3 in chapter
Exploration rewards.
1
Yeah, that's
exploration
also an
of
option. They might do that, but I doubt they're going to be as generous, but maybe.
That one sounds more like something they'd probably wait for like 100%, or not 100%, but initial completion of all the Act 7.
And then aside from that, I do think that we're probably going to see some tier 5 CC tiny crystals and stuff like that here, but other than that, I think it's going to be a relatively similar amount of tier 5 basic and tier 2 alpha and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
could see them just getting rid of the gold, like you said, and putting more gold in the actual
yeah, that's what I think. And well, that is about that kind of concludes the predictions here. Other than that, obviously, I do look forward to reading about the new nodes and everything else. Hopefully, we get that information quite soon.
I would imagine. When did this one come out? When did they mention like all this stuff? That was back in December. Doesn't say what date though, because this came out. Well, didn't it come out the 2nd week of December, I think, and then the 3rd week was variant, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was 2nd week of December, 3rd week is variant. I think that's
okay. So then, most likely, what my guess is maybe this Wednesday or Thursday they'll probably release the information on 7.2, and then we may get it the next week.
Yeah. Think so.
I could see them doing that.
Okay, so nice. December 9th, yeah, so that would be the 2nd week.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there you go. So it's December 9th, yeah. I think they'll release it then on the 12th. The 12th or 13th, either Wednesday or Thursday, but most likely the 12th was when 7.2 will release, is my guess. And we'll get information probably the 5th or 6th.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's my guess. Or they could wait till Friday and do it on Friday drop.
No, I think it's just going to be the 12th, which is Wednesday.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and then we also have this little thing that hasn't actually been properly announced, but it was given out to the booklet or whatever notes for CCP members.
CCP, yeah.
So there's going to be this Karina's challenge, a new challenge for our most advanced players, for those summoners who have stared into the abyss and laughed and have conquered every month and that the contest has thrown at them. Karina offers you a new challenge and introducing a new set of extremely difficult solo objectives designed for the most experienced and confident summoners. You'll be tasked with conquering familiar quests and content with specific champions and rarities. These solo objectives will only be available to those that have reached the Thronebreaker progression level and will be live later this month. Do not take this challenge lightly, summoner.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think, because they say you have to be Thronebreaker to get it, and it'll be live later this month, but I don't think there's going to be a time frame. I think it's going to be one of those permanent.
It could be. That's one of the things to be decided. I hope it is one of the permanent ones because, and listen out very carefully, because it said you'll have to do these challenges with specific rarity and specific champions. So imagine you're Thronebreaker, you're perfectly capable of doing something, and you need like, I don't know, a 4-star. Let's say 4 stars that
Odin.
I don't have. Let's say you need to win
Odin.
a fight.
Let's just say 4-star Odin. It's a new champion.
4-star Psycho Man, for instance.
Okay, Psycho Man, yeah.
And I just don't have a 4-star Psycho Man. I'd be flipping the fuck out.
Yeah.
And
that's why I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be something like that's gonna be like permanent ones that like as you reach Thronebreaker, they're there for you to complete whenever.
Yeah, I hope that's what it is. I really do. Because otherwise, it's gonna be like a very, very bitchy, stressful situation where you might be Thronebreaker, you might be amazing at the game, but imagine they just you need like 4-star version of a champion that you don't have or something like that. You'd flip out.
Unless they make it very generic, like
obviously they
cosmic,
like give it away like that.
Not like 4-star Corvus or something, but a 4-star Cosmic, you can use any Cosmic.
Yeah, well,
But yeah,
it depends. But no, but I think it's gonna be specific champions. It says specific champions. I do think you're gonna have to use like that champion, like whatever champion the name. But in general, what I think it is going to be is that they're going to be like defeat variant quest that with this champion only and no other champions on your team or something like that. And because they can't really use Act 6 or 7 because it's only 5 stars, right? And 6 stars. I don't think we're going to see much of 5 and 6 stars in here, period. As in like, I think they're going to be mostly kind of aiming for 3 stars and 4 stars and stuff like that. That's why they are preventing the champions to be sold, so they can do more of this stuff in future. Where they can call on players 3 and 4 star rosters. So I think it's mainly going to feature like 3 stars and 4 stars to get these challenges done. Not 5 and 6 stars. And,
for sure.
Yeah. And in general, I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely excited. I'm not entirely sure whether these will be active from the start of the launch, because typically when there are new solo objectives, they do come from the very first date of update. So it might be the case.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's a quest. It's not like it's a piece of content. It's a solo milestone. So I do think that these actually might, thinking about it, I think these might actually come from the day of update. Or like, I mean, Wednesday. 5th, basically.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, because it did say later this month, and since we haven't been officially announced anyway, for us, I'm guessing it'll probably come around the time. It may come a week after 7.2. So like,
it may be that's the second option. Either it's gonna come in the first week as cap difficulty EQ starts, or it will come 2 weeks in. Because they would not.
Yeah, it'll come like
launch it.
Because they'll give us 2
7.2.
weeks. Yeah, well, it'll be a week after the new 7.2. It'd be 2 weeks after the new content. That's usually when things start fading down. We're getting towards the side quest, the 3rd week of that out of 4, and so I think that's what it'd be.
Yeah, pretty much. But
that's my guess. It's a guess.
I'm quite excited for this because they're like hyping it up, and obviously often that hype doesn't really, translate, but this is the first piece of content that's specifically said to target Thronebreaker players, basically.
Yeah.
Hence, I am excited for it.
I am too. I'm really excited. I think it'll be fun, and this is exactly what we kind of mentioned previously, that in-game players needed something.
Yeah, exactly. In-game players needed something, and hopefully it works well, and it's fun, and it's interesting, and they managed to run it well.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Let's speak of the final topic of discussion.
Sure.
And that is this, the Kung Fu Summoner.
Kung Fu Summoner!
Mm-hmm.
This looks like we're finally getting a side quest that isn't as convoluted and not as repetitive as what we've been seeing lately for the past few months. While there are rings you have to get.
Yeah, it's going to be basically 2 things. They explain how to get all the rings. There's going to be like a special arena where you use your like 2 and 3 star champions, I believe. Yeah, 2 and 3 star champions.
They said it goes the entire length of the event, which is nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be like basically 28 days of arena where you basically have to hit all the milestones, no rank rewards, and you get I think 5 rings like that. And then you get rings by, for instance, win one fight with the Cosmic Champion with Special 2 as the last hit. So straightforward milestones.
Stuff like that. Really easy stuff. Yeah.
Follow instructions on the screen kind of thing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
and
what I like about this is it gives you the like the arena being all month long, for one thing. I'm sure the milestones, if you just dedicate a day, you could get it all done.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
And also there is the bit that you don't even need any rings to do the initial completion run.
Yeah, initial completion, you can just do it without getting and you'll get the rings while you're doing initial completion and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're gonna release one a week, with the 4th week having like the 3rd week they're gonna have all of them released, and then you have a 4th week.
And so you're gonna basically have like 2 weeks at the end to kind of like just do it in one go.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the comments. Is like, why can't I access chapter 2 and stuff like that?
Oh god. Yeah, because those are the people, I understand it, but those are the same people that always say the last 2 weeks of the month are so boring and there's nothing to do because they rush through everything and use a ton of energy refills and stuff like that. And it's like, you know what? I don't mind when it's like this. I don't. I'm not saying I prefer it, but at least it gives me something to look forward to, and it's not convoluted. Like these daily objectives to get the daily objectives to get a key, you gotta wait every day when it refreshes to get it, and then the last day before the event ends, we're still gonna get a key, so you have literally 24 hours to do that last.
Yeah, well, I
key.
wanted to say for the rest of the time though, like when cause I do like a couple of hours arena and then most of the time and stuff like that, I didn't even bother finding out or looking for whatever are those targets. I just happened to like, defeat the champion that's needed, and like right now I have like one, I think, target to find, and that's it. Like, and I have never specifically like tried to look for them for the most part.
Yeah, but that's because you do arena. Yeah. Well, not only just did the grind, but you also do it like at least once a day, every single day. So for you, I mean, it was easy because you do enough rounds and see enough variety of champions that would help you out. But for like someone like me, I don't do arena every single day. So like I would just do on my baby account, I would just do 5 at a time because I know there's 5 entries I can do.
But in general, the idea of the side event quest is fairly simple. Collect the rings, use them as kind of like keys to open path in a quest. You can still do the entire quest without having any of the keys, so you don't need to rush to get it done. And collect the rewards on the path. And the rewards are the rewards are all right. It's nothing mind-blowing, but there is the cool thing this month that you can collect the rewards from the lower difficulties as well. So my personal recommendation is to explore every single difficulty, because I know the things like tier 3 basic catalysts or extra tier 4 basics and tier 1 alphas and stuff like that. It's all of those resources are still useful if you're somebody who likes to upgrade 3 stars, 4 stars and stuff like that. It's not necessarily the thing that you chase or value or would want to spend units on, but it's handy to grab like some 4-star shards, because 4-star shards can form 5-star shards and can give you ISO and stuff like that. So all of that stuff adds up. So I always recommend to just go and do it.
Not only that, now they have, I think this is the first time they allowed us to do all the lower difficulties, without having to choose entries and stuff like that.
Well, this is first time this year, I think, because they have definitely done it before plenty of times.
No. Right. But wait, you didn't let me finish my sentence, KT. I said, this is the first time they've let us do it with the new auto fight feature.
Oh, that's true, yes. that is
See, now it makes sense what I was trying to say. Yeah, it's the first time. Yes. So, but, like, literally, you can put it on while you're watching KT and I and not even have to do anything.
Yeah, true. Now, there are a couple of things that I definitely have to mention. This is the stingiest Kebab has ever been with side event potions and revives and whatever not. I absolutely hate it. How pitifully stingy you can be. This is just so nasty. This is first time ever. And we have had 10, 15, 20 different events who have some sort of, Jubilee's arcade coins or Deadpool's love juices or some sort of whatevers, I don't know. But there have been plenty.
Nectar from, remember, what was it, the maple syrup?
There were the Poutons and, Poutine and something else and stuff like that. And you could always use those items just like regular items in every game mode where you can use a regular revive or regular health potion.
Yeah, you can use it wherever you want it to. You got them, use it where you want.
Yeah, this is the first time ever that this side potions, side event revives are specifically for the side event, and that's it. And if this marks a new thing for Kebab that they have decided to do, that's a new low for the company. It's honestly pathetic. It's so stingy.
Like, I mean, I'm not one that usually I'm not low on potions. I usually have them in overflow. But I liked that most of the time I could do the side event and not have to use any of them. And then if I decide to do something, and let's say I just had a bad fight and I just have these extra potions that I know are going to expire and they're not going to transfer into anything, I could just throw them on to like my 100% of 7.2 this month if I wanted to.
It's not just that.
But I can't do that.
It's because initially when they did these the first time with Deadpool's like love juices and those revives, right? They did expire, but they got converted into slightly lower regular items. That is how it used to be initially.
Like a level 3 would go to a level 2 regular health potion.
Yeah, basically, kind of like that. So, but they still carried over. Like,
Yeah,
if
they
the
carried over.
item revived you for 25 or 30% health after the event ended, it just got changed into level 1 single revive that revives you
Yeah.
20% health. It got shittier, it got worse, but it converted. And then they started this whole shtick where it expires. Use it or lose it.
Yeah, it
which is like,
expires,
fair
no,
enough.
yeah.
Whatever. But now, you can use it only here.
You
And
can only use it here, and it expires, and the potions aren't exactly the most health anyway. They're not the greatest, but
yeah,
whatever.
so, well, and I don't know, man. It just speaks again so bad for them as a company. So stingy.
It just shows the Kabam at the end of the day still have bean counters that don't want us to have anything
They're
too
just
much nice.
perfecting the ways how to give out as
Scrooge.
little as possible to their players that actually means or
Yeah.
matters or is helpful. Like, and they're perfecting
Yeah.
the idea of pretending that they give us something useful.
You know what Kabam would
give
say
nothing.
though if we said this to them, you know what they tell us? Well, we could just not give them to you.
I honestly prefer if they didn't.
The honest truth, yeah. I mean, because most of the time I've never used these on the side
exactly,
event.
because side
I
quests,
can't tell
like,
you the time I've used it on the side event.
Yeah, exactly. I don't expect side event to be hard to actually take some potions from me, and I do understand that it's not for every single player like that. But
yeah,
in general, I just
I mean, a perfect example is like the side quest this month. My baby account, a little over a year old, just hit a year and a half, I think, or will about hit a year and a half at the end of this month. And the thing is like I was doing legendary and wasn't using items with a baby account that is now a little bit more seasoned.
That's kind of the
stupid.
thing. It's just I don't know. It stings. It feels very bad because it used to be good. It went to being worse, where you can only, but they do start to expire, and then it went to completely shit, where you can only use them here. So
yeah, and you know what's sad about it too is they kind of make them always look different too. They look unique and stuff.
yeah,
Wouldn't it be cool if they just let us keep them
yeah,
forever?
I know. It would be so fun. It would be interesting.
It'd be, hey, guess how many? Who still has a health potion that looks like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Hey, whatever. It's just little stingy.
And then they have these special crystals that can give you just these specific champions too.
Yeah, so basically we're going to be able to get some cow crystals again. Or for most of the mid-level summoners, I do personally recommend going for 5-star crystal, because you're going to be able to, with 10,000 shards, so basically price of 2.5 cav crystals, get a 5-star crystal flat out. And from the point of guaranteed minimum value, you're definitely 100% better off for a mid-range account going for this 5-star crystal instead of risking a cow crystal, which is 50% of the time going to be a 3-star champion. Right? Correct, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's, let's say 12,000 shards would be 3 cow crystals, and statistically you would get most likely 2 3-stars and a 4-star, right?
Yeah.
At least this way you can guarantee yourself 5 stars. So
yeah,
for vast majority of the people in the game,
rosters, that's
great. Vast majority of the people in this game who are still building up their 5-star rosters definitely go for 5-star crystals, 100%.
Yeah.
I personally will not, because I do have every single champion on this list as a 5-star, and I'm
just better.
only interested in 6 stars.
For us, the gamble's worth it. But for people that are still developing and stuff, definitely. I mean, look, they've got. I'm just looking on there. Plenty of people always looking for Aegon. Black Panther's getting a buff. We got Black Widow Deadly Origin that people love. We got the new Daredevil Hell Kitchen if you like her. I mean him. Sorry, her. Sorry. You got Heartheye isn't too bad. Killmonger's not too bad. Ronin's okay. Stealth Suit Spider-Man's really good. Also good for prestige if you need that. Squirrel Girl's not bad. And then Thor Ragnarok is prestige if that still helps you too with 5 stars. So
yeah. So in general, however, this crystal pool is quite underwhelming.
Yeah, it definitely is it's all skill, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's all skill, but why do you put in Elektra, Hawkeye, Karnak, Daredevil?
Yeah, that's
Classic?
why I looked at Deadpool Hell's Kitchen and I said I was her for Elektra. I'm like, I'm not even gonna mention her. Like that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, I'm not gonna mention her. And
so it's like, let's be honest. Shit. I will be
honest. I don't have OG.
Shit.
I don't have OG Black Widow as a 5-star. I may try and get her.
I do, but I'd love her as 6-star.
Oh, and I don't have Daredevil Classic as a 5-star.
Oh yeah, I think that might actually be a unique 5-star.
He's a unique one. Yeah, I was gonna say that may be one we could be hunting for together.
Yeah.
You know, I finally pulled Stealth Suit Spider-Man yesterday, It's a 5-star. This is a 5-star.
Nice.
I have him as a rank 2 6-star duped, but I just thought it was funny. I finally pulled him as a 5-star.
But yeah, so overall, I do think at the very least this is fairly straightforward event, so I don't have too much against it. I hope it's not bugged. Even the last 5, 6, 7 monthly side events have been bugged. They just don't seem to miss here.
There was one thing I forgot to look, and I didn't notice it. Did it say it's going to cost energy?
Yeah, 1 energy, which again.
Okay, 1 energy. Okay, at least it's only 1 energy, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, it's just, this is not a bad thing to put off and do after you've done 100% of whatever difficulty you want to do, and after 7.1 or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and again, especially because like out of fight, like I know for a fact what I'll do in the morning. Then I wake up when I'm having my breakfast. Like, you know, before I start streaming Arena, I'm gonna be having breakfast and auto fighting through the initial difficulties of these side event quests.
Yeah. Just all I want to say, KT, is this is a month I think is pretty straightforward. I think we're gonna get to see some good stuff. Hopefully it's not too underwhelming. Hopefully the bugs stay away mostly, and hopefully 7.2 doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, I wanted to say, given everything that we know about this month and buffs and new content and those challenges and side events and new champions, I'm quite excited for this month. So given that the game doesn't go down for days or for 10 times in like span of couple of days, or that we don't have any more login issues, or, you know, I don't know, random AQs don't get just skipped a week and things like that, given that everything goes remotely smooth, because face it, there will be bugs so long as the game remains actually functional. that I think we're gonna have a decently good month. And last thing before we finish, I forgot to mention, but I wanted to remind to everyone, is that for those of you who are exploring Abyss, definitely do the Havoc path immediately. Because as soon as the update lands tomorrow, Havoc will start. Well, Havoc is gonna get fixed. So currently, Havoc is bugged in Abyss, and you can literally use any champion at all whatsoever against Havoc, because he doesn't damage you from his plasma detonations. Start with next update, they state that they have fixed it. Now, whether they actually have or they haven't, we don't know, because half of the time what they say might not necessarily be what actually is. But they are saying that Havoc is getting fixed in Abyss. So, just warning you.
They left it broken for so long, they should just left it.
But
what's it really hurting? It's one fight, guys. Anyway, but yeah, definitely do Path 3. It's Path 3 for those that look on the map.
Yeah.
I believe it's on all the maps as Path 3.
If you start like now or tomorrow morning and just get past Havoc before the update, you're gonna be good, right?
Yep.
So like you just literally need to get past Havocs. There are 2 Havocs on that lane, and then you can leave the boss fights and last several fights on the lane after the update, but just get past Havocs. Yeah, that is it today, I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say one last thing. The best time to do it, there's no Alliance quest going on. War is about to hit placement mode, but then there's no new content coming until Wednesday, so do it.
Yeah.
Don't delay. Act now. Supplies are limited.
Yeah, otherwise you're just gonna...
Otherwise you get F'd in the A by K.
Well, otherwise you can make it harder for yourself. Anyways, that is it. So I'm going to say huge thank you to every single one of you. Please hit that like button, sub button if you haven't already. And obviously tomorrow morning, since there are no worthwhile arenas to do, I will be doing all side event, like basically weeks worth of side event, collecting gold and single 5-star signature stones and whatever else that is. But yeah, let's say huge thank you to Mando. He's absolutely awesome.
Oh, well, thank you, man. I honestly thank KT, because he's been making a ton of new videos, and he's not missed a stream in the afternoon or in the morning. You guys should really be appreciating the hell out of him lately, too. So I love being here. I've been very happy to be here. I went to bed at 4 a.m. my time last night, and look, I was here on time, rocking it with energy with you guys today. If I can do it, you can do it for KT. So have a great day. Rest of Sunday for you all.
Yeah, and obviously, special shout out to Jonathan Williams for dropping the $2 earlier. And yeah, see you in the morning.
Yep. Latest.
proceed with hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about